so that the whole world, which currently, as I know from watching the press around the world, rolls its eyes every time Mr. Trump says something odd or bizarre, which is almost every day. If you think that's funny, think again, because this man is in a key position to do something which the world may never recover from. Something has happened to allow this mentality to be in this position as we speak should really terrify everybody.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, my understanding is that the Iranian government has now formally said that the memorandum of understanding is, as far as they're concerned, no longer in effect. So the United States has violated it. Now Iran rejects it. So it's gone. It was a temporary effort to try to reach some sort of accommodation. I think what happened, in my own judgment, is that the president signed it because he has to get this over with in a reasonable amount of time. And then it was explained to him that he had given away more than he could politically manage with his own base here in the United States, which is probably true. And so he simply, as he does so often, proceeded to act in such a way as if he had not signed this document. And the Iranians waited a few days, as has become a pattern, and then decided, oh, I see, so that's not relevant anymore either. And meanwhile, the war has expanded. There is a way in which that is always probable in a war. What you need to understand is the war, when it breaks out, changes things. And everybody in the area, everyone affected, every other country, every company, many population groups, as they are affected by the war, they change their behavior, they accommodate. For example, people leave a part of the world and move somewhere else. They become refugees to escape the war. That means new kinds of pressures exist on transportation facilities, on the countries to which they move, and on and on. Meanwhile, countries reassess their situation. The crisis faced by neighboring countries, by countries affected by the closing of the Strait of Hormuz, they are all adjusting. And as they adjust, they can often, not at all necessary, but frequent, bump into one another and cause frictions that lead countries to decide now is a time when we can go to war. I don't know the details, and maybe we never will be, but it is quite possible to spin out this scenario that Saudi Arabia, pressured by the whole developments there, caught between the United States, with which it wishes to maintain a long-standing relationship, and a new face towards China, and a recognition it's going to have to get along with Iran now in a new way that it didn't have available before, made some decisions. For example, trying to get a few oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz. And the Iranians, having said, no, you can't do that if you don't get the permit, hit them with a missile. Or maybe they didn't do that. Maybe the Houthis did it on their own and zapped a Saudi thing because it was violating. We'll never know that. And then something begins. One of the reasons you don't do what Trump and Israel did is because it risks a wider war. For Israel, that made sense because they hoped that a wider war would bring the United States deeper into the situation. They've been trying for years to get the United States to be militarily more active, helping Israel in that area. They are now achieving, slowly, painfully, and at enormous human cost, what they were going to do. The question really is only, I don't mean to be simple-minded, but I do think, working on this all the time, that the crucial question here is whether the Iranian people and their government have the solidarity, have the commitment to withstand the effort to terrorize them into submission, because that's what this is. Endless bombing, endless missile, endless drones, using the firepower of the United States gathered there, is the only American effort now being made to deal with this situation. So if that's what you have, then the key question is, can the recipient of all of that withstand it? The Iranians have already shown the world we can fight back. We have missiles too, and they do. We have drones, and we know how to use them, and we have proven our skill at using them. So the United States has a real enemy, not just in the people. The recognition how important the enemy of the people is that there's no landing of American troops, because that's too dangerous. The cost of that for the United States would be even greater. Large numbers of dead soldiers coming back. It's not the political need between now and November when there's an election. So the people have shown you can't do that. So all they got is the air power, the missiles and the drones, which the Iranians can return in good measure. The United States is willing to continue because the missiles and drones, really, they're not coming to the United States. They're coming to American bases in the Gulf states. And that's serious. But they have decided clearly they can absorb that damage. Iran is already doing more damage to the military apparatus of the United States than anyone I know of in a long time. It's a remarkable already sign. But if they are solid, if they are held together, then time is on their side. And that is absolutely crucial. And the reason time is on their side is really clear. Number one, they have used up, and by they I mean mostly the United States and China, but they have used up their oil reserves, or most of them. One of the reasons the price of oil has not risen more than it already has is the determined behavior of the United States to pump oil into the market, and the determination of China, that used to buy a lot of international oil, to rely instead on its own reserves and the limitless supply that they can get from Russia. I mean, all of these are very, very important. So here's the problem. The United States doesn't have that much more oil. And the Chinese may not have enough, may not want to deplete their reserves. They know that the United States, once it's done in the Middle East, will in fact be looking more and more at China in the years ahead. They have to see what kind of policies they may face. The United States' control on the world oil market, something our colleague Michael speaks to very often on our program here. All of these things mean that there may not be more reserves. China may return into the market, and there'll be more demand, and less reserve, less supply, more demand, less supply, then the price of oil. And that will mean the price of gasoline, which never came down that much anyway, will be boosted up again. And then we have the inflationary impact that has not yet so far become unmanageable. Mr. Trump is being told, that I know, that he has to worry about that. The Iranians don't have to worry about that. The Iranians have in their alliance with Russia and China a secure backstop for the things they need that they can't otherwise obtain. And by the way, talking about expanding war, one of the things that Iran relies on is the passage of boats in the Caspian Sea from Russia to Iran. That is a crucial passageway, given the mountainous territory and what the land looks like up there. That's a very important thing. And the Ukrainians are trying to disrupt all of this. They have nothing left. Their economy is finished. Their military is mostly gone. They are left with warfare with drones. And so they're trying to use massive drones, obviously paid for and supplied by Europe, to paralyze Russian shipping in the Sea of Azov, in the Black Sea, and in the Caspian Sea. And so you could see literally the two wars are beginning to impinge one upon the other. So that when you hear predictions that this could be the beginning of World War III, that's what people mean, that this is a war that is spreading. All wars have that capability, but we're now watching the capability becoming a reality as everybody adjusts. The strategic decision of Ukrainian drones is shaped by the Houthis doing to the Saudi Arabians a new move in the Red Sea. I mean, people should understand that's one of the dangers. So that the whole world, which currently, as I know from watching the press around the world, rolls its eyes every time Mr. Trump says something odd or bizarre.